There is a currency you have been spending recklessly your entire life. You give it to people who despise you, to situations that drain you, and to a world that's designed to consume you. That currency is your attention, and because you give it away so freely, it loses its power. The more you react, the more you allow others to control your focus, the less control you have over your own life. Imagine how different your world could be if you began to reclaim that power. What would it look like to only give your attention to what truly matters, to the things and people who bring value to your life? Stoicism teaches us that the key to mastering our mind and emotions is the ability to choose where we direct our attention. By controlling this, we regain control over our peace, our energy, and ultimately, our destiny. Imagine you're in a heated argument. Someone says something that triggers you, and immediately you feel the urge to respond, to defend yourself, to prove that you're right. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why do their words have so much power over your emotions? It's not just the words they say, but the meaning we assign to them, the emotions we attach. We react because we feel that if we don't, we'll lose something, our dignity, our respect, or perhaps control over the situation. But the truth is, the moment you react, you've already lost. You've given away your power to the situation, letting it dictate your feelings, your actions, your state of mind. Stoicism teaches us a simple but profound lesson. We can't control the actions of others, but we can always control how we respond to them. This is where real power lies, within our own response. In those moments of tension, when everything inside us wants to lash out, there's a quiet power in choosing to remain unshaken, choosing silence over reaction, calm over chaos. The thing is, most of us don't even realize how often we give our power away. Think about how many times you've argued with someone over something insignificant. Maybe it was a trivial comment, an unnecessary criticism, or an accusation that wasn't true. Did it change anything? Did it improve the situation? Or did it just escalate the tension? The fact is, when we react, we often add fuel to the fire. We make ourselves a part of the drama, a part of the chaos. But when we stop reacting, when we choose to be the calm in the storm, we break the cycle. We stop feeding into the drama, and in doing so, regain control of our emotional state. The peace you create for yourself when you choose not to respond is far more valuable than the fleeting satisfaction of being right in the moment. Consider how many times you've allowed other people's words or actions to ruin your day, your mood, your peace of mind. These are the moments where, without realizing it, you've let someone else's behavior dictate your emotional state. This is not to say that you should become passive or indifferent to everything around you. It's not about becoming a doormat or letting others walk all over you. It's about taking a step back and deciding which battles are worth fighting and which ones are not. In Stoicism, this idea is central. Not every confrontation requires a response. Not every insult or challenge is worth your time or energy. The key is learning when to engage and when to let go. Imagine for a moment that every time you're provoked, you respond with silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because you've learned the power of choosing your moment. This doesn't mean that you should ignore the things that matter or avoid confronting issues when they arise. The true strength comes from discerning what's worth your attention and what isn't. What you allow to consume your mind is what shapes your experience of life. When you give your attention to every insult, every criticism, you're feeding the negativity. But when you withhold your attention from that which does not serve you, you build emotional resilience. You create a buffer between you and the world around you. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing as a step toward taking back control over your own life and mind. Every moment of focus you invest here is an investment in your growth. Think about the people you respect the most. What sets them apart? What is it about their presence that commands respect? More often than not, it's not their loudness or their constant need for attention, but their quiet confidence. They don't react to every little thing. They are secure in themselves, grounded and unshaken by the noise around them. This is the power of emotional detachment. It's the ability to observe without becoming entangled. It's not about being cold or indifferent. It's about being mindful of where you invest your energy. This is where the Stoic idea of virtue as its own reward becomes so powerful. Virtue is not about winning every argument or always being right. It's about mastering yourself. It's about cultivating inner peace regardless of the chaos around you. This is the practice of strategic detachment. It's not about running away from challenges, but about engaging with the world on your terms, from a place of strength, not weakness. The practice of ignoring is, in essence, a tool for mental freedom. It's the ability to walk through life, not controlled by others' opinions, not swayed by fleeting emotions, but anchored in your own principles and values. And this doesn't mean you disengage from everything. It means you choose where to direct your attention with intention. You decide what's worth your energy and what's simply a distraction. The world will always throw challenges your way. People will test you, situations will challenge you, and adversity will appear. But when you practice the art of ignoring, you're no longer a puppet reacting to external forces. You become the one in control. You become the master of your own mind, and in doing so, you regain your true power. This kind of emotional mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey of self-awareness, of noticing when you're about to react and choosing a different path. It's a process of unlearning old habits, of stepping away from the automatic responses that once controlled you, and in that process you'll find that your life becomes more peaceful, more focused, and more intentional. The less you react to the world, the more you can focus on what truly matters, your growth, your purpose, and your peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When you stop giving away your attention to everything that disturbs you, you take back your ability to shape your own thoughts, your own reality. As you begin to practice this, you'll notice something remarkable. The less you engage with unnecessary drama, the more control you have over your internal state. You stop reacting from a place of weakness and start responding from a place of strength. You understand that the world will always throw things at you, but you no longer have to catch them. The noise of the world becomes just that, background noise, not the soundtrack of your life. You begin to see people and situations clearly, without the clouded judgment that comes from emotional reactivity. In the end, the art of ignoring is not about being indifferent or disconnected from life. It's about choosing where to focus your energy and how to protect your mental space. It's about being present, but not at the mercy of every passing emotion or external trigger. It's about finding strength in silence and peace in your own mind. When you stop reacting, you regain your power, and in that power, you find freedom. The moment you withhold your attention, you take back control of your mental space. Think about it. So much of your energy is spent reacting to others. You argue, you explain, you defend, you justify. But what if none of that was necessary? What if you could free yourself from this cycle? The people who thrive on your reactions, whether it's drama, insults, or simply demanding your energy, only continue to do so because they've learned that you'll give it. They feed off your emotional response. But when you stop giving them that satisfaction, you begin to break the cycle. And the more you practice this, the more you begin to realize just how much power you've been giving away without even knowing it. By withdrawing, you send a clear message. You don't control me. It's liberating, not just for the person on the other end, but for yourself. By choosing silence, by choosing to not react, you regain a sense of peace. You're no longer a slave to other people's whims or words, and in that freedom, you find a greater sense of self. It's interesting how we often associate silence with weakness, with indifference, or even with avoiding confrontation. But in reality, silence can be one of the most powerful tools in our emotional arsenal. People expect a response. They expect you to fight back, to argue, to justify yourself. But when you refuse to engage, you shift the entire power dynamic. It's not about avoiding conflict, it's about choosing how to engage with it. The silence isn't about running away from the challenge, it's about standing your ground. It's about knowing that you don't need to prove yourself to anyone. The more you practice this, the more you start to notice how people react when you don't react. They become confused, they become anxious, they wonder why you're not engaging, and this uncertainty works in your favor. When you stop reacting, you stop reinforcing their behavior. Their attempts to provoke you lose their potency. The moment they realize they cannot manipulate you through their words, they lose their power over you. But here's where it gets even more interesting. You're not just teaching them a lesson by withholding your attention. You're teaching yourself something even more valuable. By resisting the urge to react, you're proving to yourself that your peace is more important than any external drama. You're practicing emotional mastery. This is a fundamental Stoic principle. Control over your own responses, no matter what the world throws at you. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. You begin to stop giving your energy to things that don't matter, to people who don't respect you, to situations that only drain you. You start to reclaim your time, your focus, and your energy. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require you to say anything. It doesn't require you to take action. It just requires you to not engage with things that don't deserve your time. As a Stoic, you're taught that your mind is your most precious possession. No one should have the power to control it without your consent. And when you stop reacting, you assert that control. It's important to remember that this isn't just about external relationships. It's about internal mastery as well. Often, we seek validation or approval from others because we're unsure of ourselves. We let our emotional state be determined by how others perceive us or react to us. But the more you withhold your attention from the distractions and external noise, the more you begin to turn inward and trust yourself. It's a practice of self-reliance. The Stoic philosophers understood that the key to living a peaceful and purposeful life wasn't about seeking approval from the world, but aligning yourself with your own values, no matter what external circumstances arise. When you choose to detach from external validation, you strengthen your internal foundation. You begin to define your worth not by what others think of you, but by what you know to be true about yourself. You don't need anyone's approval to be at peace. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. By withstanding the urge to react, you not only protect your own peace, but you also learn a deeper level of self-discipline. This isn't just about ignoring someone's insults or avoiding petty drama. It's about training yourself to be unaffected by the world around you. It's about becoming so grounded in your own sense of self that nothing can shake you. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Reacting to every little thing, letting the small irritations of life dictate our emotional state, is a waste of precious time and energy. Instead, we should focus on what truly matters. We should direct our attention toward the things that nourish us, the things that help us grow. Every time you resist the urge to react, you reclaim a piece of yourself. And in the long run, you'll find that the more you practice this, the less you need to react. The less you care about what others think, the more freedom you have to focus on your own journey. You become the master of your own emotions, and with that mastery comes true strength. You see, people crave attention, especially those who are toxic, manipulative, or simply insecure. It's a fundamental aspect of human nature. We all seek validation in one way or another, but some people, especially those who thrive on creating drama, go a step further. They seek validation through provoking others, through causing emotional reactions. When you consistently give them your attention, you reinforce their belief that they matter. You give them the power to shape your emotional state, to dictate your reactions. But what if you stopped? What if, instead of reacting to their attempts to provoke you, you started to view their actions as nothing more than background noise. Just like you don't react to the sound of a distant dog barking, why should you react to someone who's constantly seeking validation from you? The moment you stop responding, the moment you refuse to be drawn into their drama, their power over you starts to fade. This is not about ignoring people entirely or being passive. It's about shifting your perspective. It's about understanding that their actions, their words, their behavior no longer have to affect you. When you stop reacting, you take back control of your energy. You stop feeding into the chaos they create, and in doing so, you give yourself the space to find peace. Imagine someone insults you, tries to bait you into an argument, or plays a manipulative game. In the past, you might have felt the immediate urge to fight back, to prove them wrong, to defend yourself. But now, instead of engaging, you simply observe. You let their words pass by, just like you'd ignore the noise of a barking dog that has no impact on your life. It's easy to get caught up in the emotional tug-of-war that toxic people try to create. They know how to push your buttons, how to get under your skin. But the more you engage, the more power you give them over your life. So, what would happen if, instead of reacting, you simply stopped? You'd stop feeding their need for drama. You'd stop validating their behavior. You'd take away the very thing they crave, your attention. And in doing so, you take back your power. It's like a game of tug-of-war where, instead of pulling back, you simply let go of the rope. They're left holding nothing, and you are free to move forward, unburdened by the weight of their manipulation. By refusing to engage with toxic people on their terms, you begin to realize that you don't have to fight every battle. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone's opinion matters. And by taking a step back, by refusing to react, you start to carve out the space you need to focus on what truly matters. You stop wasting your energy on things that drain you, and instead, you start investing it in the things that uplift and empower you. When you learn the art of ignoring, you learn the art of self-control. You learn how to maintain your peace amidst chaos. And this doesn't just apply to toxic people, it applies to situations, to challenges, to everything that tries to disturb your equilibrium. You become the calm in the storm, the unshaken anchor in a world that constantly pulls at you. And in that calmness, you find your true strength. You stop reacting to the noise around you and start creating your own sense of order, your own sense of purpose. This is the power of not engaging, the power of taking back your attention and directing it where it truly matters. You may be wondering, though, how this applies to your day-to-day life. How can you put this into practice? It starts small. It starts with those little moments when you feel the urge to react, when someone cuts you off in traffic, when someone makes a passive-aggressive comment, or when a friend or colleague tries to manipulate you emotionally. Instead of reacting, take a breath, pause, and choose to remain in control. Choose to direct your attention toward your own peace, toward your own goals. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. Eventually, it will become second nature. You'll stop giving your attention to the things that don't deserve it. You'll stop feeding the drama, and you'll start living a life that's truly yours to control. This isn't manipulation. It's not about playing games or trying to make people chase you for no reason. It's a simple truth about human nature. People respect what's scarce. If you're always there, always showing up, always giving, there's nothing rare or special about you. But if you hold back, if you reserve your time and energy for those who truly matter, or for things that truly deserve your attention, you become a rare commodity. And people, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to that. It's the same reason why we place value on things that are hard to obtain. A rare gem, a limited edition, an exclusive experience. These are things we want because they're not easily accessible. When you make yourself less accessible, you're sending a message that your time and energy are precious, that they must be earned, not taken for granted. Think about yourself as a rare jewel. There are only a few people who should be allowed close enough to admire it. Not everyone deserves that privilege. Just like any precious thing in life, your attention should be valued and guarded. This doesn't mean you shut people out or become cold. It simply means you become more discerning about where you direct your focus. You stop giving it to people who don't respect it and start giving it to those who do. You begin to choose where you place your energy wisely instead of giving it away freely to anyone who asks. Carl Jung once said, "You are what you do, not what you say you'll do." In the same way, your time and attention reflect who you are. When you give it to everyone indiscriminately, you reflect the idea that you have nothing of value to offer. But when you choose where to place it, when you reserve it for those who truly matter, you show the world that your energy is valuable. The key here is respect. Respect for yourself, for your time, and for your emotional energy. It's not about being rude or ignoring people out of spite. It's about recognizing that your presence should be earned, that you should never feel obligated to give away your attention just because someone demands it. Respect for your time means knowing that you don't owe anyone your focus unless they offer something meaningful in return. And in doing so, you regain control over your life and your peace. Imagine walking through life with a sense of calm, knowing that you no longer have to react to every person or situation that tries to pull you in. You are the one in control, and people begin to notice that. When they see that you're not easily swayed or pulled into every drama, they start to respect you more. You are no longer just a participant in the chaos of the world. You become the one who stands outside of it, unaffected, unshaken, and in control. This shift in how you handle your attention can be transformative. Not only does it change how others perceive you, but it changes how you perceive yourself. You stop seeing yourself as someone who is constantly at the mercy of other people's needs. You stop feeling like you need to prove your worth by always being there for others. Instead, you begin to understand that your worth is intrinsic. It's not based on how much you can give, but on how much you choose to give and to whom. You don't have to be everyone's go-to person or the one who fixes every problem. When you withhold your attention, you create the space to focus on the things that truly matter to you. Whether it's personal growth, relationships that truly nourish you, or your own peace of mind, you now have the time and energy to devote to what aligns with your values. This process takes time. It's not easy to stop reacting, especially when you're used to being the one who's always there, always available. But with practice, it becomes second nature. You begin to notice the difference in your life as you stop giving away your energy. You feel less drained, less stressed, and more in control. And most importantly, you begin to realize how much of your emotional energy was spent on things and people that didn't deserve it. With that realization comes freedom. Freedom from the constant need to react. Freedom from the pressure to be everything for everyone. And with that freedom comes a deeper sense of peace. You learn to prioritize your energy, to give it to what truly matters. And in doing so, you not only gain respect from others, but also from yourself. You start living life on your own terms, no longer at the mercy of the demands of others. Your attention is yours to give, and when you choose not to give it, you reclaim your power. Now you may be thinking, but what if this person truly needs my attention? What if they're trying to connect? It's natural to want to help or engage with people, especially those who are important to us. The idea of withholding attention can feel cold, even wrong. But here's where the Stoic mindset becomes invaluable. True connection, according to Stoicism, isn't about constantly giving your energy to others, especially when they take without offering anything in return. It's about mutual respect. Respect for yourself and for the people around you. When you give away your attention to those who only take, you're diminishing your own value. But when you choose to withhold it, you're not devaluing the other person. You're protecting your own peace, your own mental space, and your emotional well-being. Think of it like this. When you stop reacting to someone's behavior, you force them to confront themselves. It's a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of giving them your emotional response, which is exactly what they want, you take away their ability to provoke you. In that silence, they're no longer receiving the validation they crave. And in that moment, they're left to reflect on their actions, to see their own behavior for what it truly is. The people who are constantly trying to provoke, to manipulate, or to create drama thrive on getting a rise out of others. They've learned that their words or actions have the power to disturb your peace, but when you stop feeding into their narrative, they lose that power. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." When you stop reacting, you give them the space to reflect on why they seek that attention, why they feel the need to provoke or control. In this way, the power dynamic shifts. They start to question their own behavior, and in that questioning, they often reveal their own flaws. This doesn't mean you should become dismissive or avoid all difficult conversations. The goal isn't to shut people out completely, but to recognize when their actions are drawing you into a space that doesn't serve your peace. It's about creating a boundary, a protective layer around your emotional energy. Not everyone who seeks your attention has good intentions. Not everyone who wants to connect is coming from a place of honesty or mutual respect. By recognizing this, you take control of your emotional responses. Instead of letting someone's behavior dictate your mood, you learn to decide when and where your attention should go. When you withdraw your attention from someone who has proven to be draining or manipulative, you're not punishing them. You're simply choosing to invest your energy in places that nourish you, in relationships that offer balance and respect. When you start practicing this, you may notice that those who have been taking advantage of your energy will begin to notice your absence. They may try harder to provoke you, to get a reaction. But instead of feeling frustrated or upset, you begin to recognize their attempts for what they are, an effort to manipulate your emotions. This realization is liberating. The more you practice not reacting, the more you realize how often you've been manipulated without even knowing it. And with this knowledge comes empowerment. You begin to realize that you are in charge of your own emotional state. You are the one who decides what deserves your energy and attention. And when you stop reacting, you stop feeding into someone else's game. You take away their ability to control you. There is incredible strength in choosing not to react. It's a form of resilience that doesn't rely on fighting back or proving a point. Instead, it comes from a deep understanding that your peace and your energy are yours to protect. When you choose to remain unaffected by someone's attempts to provoke you, you become emotionally untouchable. You stop being a pawn in their game and start becoming the master of your own emotions. This emotional mastery doesn't come from reacting or engaging with every situation. It comes from the wisdom to know when to hold your ground, when to remain silent, and when to step back. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes. You start to see people for who they truly are without being clouded by your emotional responses. You stop seeing every comment, every criticism, or every slight as a personal attack. Instead, you begin to see them for what they are, external noise that has no real power over you unless you let it. When you stop giving people the emotional reaction they want, they are left with nothing. They are forced to confront their own insecurities and behaviors. And in that silence, you begin to find peace. The beauty of this practice is that it's available to you at all times. You don't need any special tools or skills. All it takes is the choice to stop reacting, to stop feeding into the drama, and to start protecting your own peace. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice a shift in how you feel. You'll stop feeling drained by others, and instead, you'll start to feel energized by the choices you make. You'll realize that you have the power to control your emotional state, no matter what's going on around you. This is not about shutting people out or becoming cold. It's about recognizing your worth, your boundaries, and your need for peace. When you stop giving away your attention to things that don't matter, you start giving it to the things that do. By withholding your attention from those who seek to drain you, you reclaim your power. It's a simple yet profound shift that can change the way you experience the world. And with this power comes peace. Peace from the constant need for validation, peace from the never-ending drama, and peace in knowing that you control where your energy goes. The more you practice this, the more you'll find yourself living a life that's truly yours to create. The true power of ignoring comes when you master it not just with others, but within yourself. How often do you find yourself giving your attention to thoughts, fears, and insecurities that don't serve you? The constant stream of worries, doubts, and internal noise can be just as distracting, if not more so, than the external drama you try to avoid. We all experience it. That nagging voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you're bound to fail, or that others are judging you. The problem is, when you let these thoughts take up your mental space, you're no different than someone who's always reacting to the drama and chaos of the outside world. The more you focus on these internal distractions, the more you allow them to control you. The Stoics understood this fundamental truth, that real strength comes from the ability to control your internal dialogue, from knowing which thoughts deserve your attention and which ones you can simply let go. Imagine for a moment that you've just made a mistake. Maybe a small one, maybe something bigger. Now think about how your mind reacts. Do you beat yourself up? Do you replay the mistake over and over again, making yourself feel worse and worse? Or perhaps you're caught up in worrying about what others think of you, convinced that their judgment defines your worth. This constant cycle of self-criticism and worry is a form of mental reactivity. It's the same as reacting to every external drama or provocation. It drains your energy and keeps you stuck. Instead of moving forward, you're stuck in a loop of negative thoughts and emotions. But what if, instead of feeding that cycle, you simply ignored it? What if you chose not to give your attention to the worries and doubts that constantly arise? Learning to ignore your own mind's distractions is a form of emotional intelligence. It's the ability to step back and observe your thoughts without becoming consumed by them. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to navigate your inner world without getting swept up in every negative thought or self-criticism. You learn to recognize the patterns in your thinking, and instead of reacting to them, you simply let them pass. This is not an easy skill to master, and it takes time. But as you continue to practice, you'll find that the noise in your mind becomes less loud and less frequent. You begin to create space for clarity, focus, and peace. The beauty of this practice is that it frees you from the tyranny of your own thoughts. So much of our suffering comes not from the world around us, but from the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. We catastrophize, we assume the worst, and we let our minds run wild with what-ifs. But when you learn to ignore the mental chatter that doesn't serve you, you can shift your focus to what's real, what's important, and what you can control. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter, and you start using that energy to create the life you want. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to choose your thoughts, to choose where you focus, and to take control of your mental space. The more you practice this, the more you begin to recognize how much of your mental energy was being wasted on things that didn't need your attention. It's like cleaning out a cluttered room in your mind. When you remove the distractions, you create space for what truly matters. And as you create this mental clarity, you begin to notice how much more peace you experience in your day-to-day life. You become less affected by external chaos, less influenced by the opinions of others, and more focused on your own path. The Stoics believed that the key to a good life was to align yourself with nature, to live in accordance with what is in your control, and to let go of what is not. This principle of inner control, of choosing to ignore the distractions, is central to that philosophy. It's about living intentionally, without being swayed by the noise of the world. Mastering the art of ignoring your own distractions is a skill that, once learned, opens the door to true inner peace. It's a process of becoming less reactive, more intentional, and more grounded in your own values. When you stop letting your mind run wild with negativity and self-doubt, you open up space for growth, creativity, and a deeper connection with yourself. This is the path to emotional resilience and mental strength, the ability to face challenges without being overwhelmed, to stay focused on what matters, and to keep moving forward with purpose. And as you walk this path, you'll find that the world around you begins to shift. You no longer feel at the mercy of external circumstances or your own mind. You are the one in control, and that control is the key to creating a life that is truly your own. This brings us to the final, most important aspect of the art of ignoring, the ability to remain present without becoming consumed by the world around you. It's easy to fall into the trap of reacting to everything, of getting swept up in the chaos of everyday life. People, situations, events, they all demand your attention, your energy, your emotions. But what if you could walk through life unaffected by the noise? What if you could choose where to direct your energy rather than giving it away to every distraction that comes your way? That's the true power of ignoring. It's not about running away from life or retreating into isolation. It's about choosing what deserves your energy. It's about being able to be fully present in your life without being consumed by every external force. You decide what matters, and you focus on that, without getting derailed by anything that doesn't serve your purpose. When you stop seeking validation from others and start focusing on your own growth, you gain a power that is unstoppable. You no longer rely on the approval or attention of others to define your worth. Instead, you become your own source of validation. Your self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions of those around you. This is liberating. It's the foundation of personal strength. When you are no longer chasing the approval of others, you become free to pursue what truly matters to you. You no longer have to live by the rules set by the expectations of others. You define your own path, your own purpose, and your own success. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And becoming who you truly are begins with ignoring the external noise and focusing on your own internal growth. The world will always try to drag you into its chaos. There will always be people who want to pull you into their drama, events that demand your attention, and distractions that try to steer you off course. But by practicing the art of ignoring, you can remain anchored. The key is to stay focused on your own goals and to resist the temptation to react to everything that's happening around you. Like a Stoic emperor, you walk through the marketplace of life unbothered, knowing that you control your mind, your attention, and ultimately your destiny. It's not about ignoring life or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about not letting life's chaos dictate your emotions or actions. You choose what you give your attention to, and in doing so, you regain control of your inner world. This is where true power lies, not in reacting to the world around you, but in choosing to remain anchored, grounded, and focused. When you stop seeking external validation, you stop giving away your power. You reclaim control over your emotions, your energy, and your actions. You become the master of your own destiny, and nothing on the outside can take that from you. It's a practice. It takes time and discipline. But once you begin to master it, you'll notice a shift. You'll notice how much more peaceful you feel, how much more in control you are of your life, and how much less power the world has over you. Of course, this doesn't mean you become detached or indifferent to others. It simply means you learn to set boundaries. You learn to give your energy to the things that truly matter, your growth, your relationships, your purpose. And you learn to ignore the things that drain you, that don't contribute to your well-being, and that try to pull you into negativity. As the Stoics teach, we can't control what happens in the world, but we can control how we respond to it. By choosing not to react, you take back your power. And in doing so, you create a life that is truly yours, one where you are in control, unshaken by the world around you. Imagine walking through your day with this kind of clarity and control. Imagine not being pulled into arguments, drama, or distractions. Imagine being able to move through the world with purpose and focus, always directing your energy toward what serves your growth. This is the power of ignoring, not out of apathy or avoidance, but out of strength. When you learn to ignore the distractions, the noise, and the negativity, you create the space to focus on what matters. You become less reactive and more proactive, more intentional with your energy and attention. The beauty of this practice is that it can be applied to every aspect of your life. Whether it's dealing with difficult people, managing your time, or navigating challenging situations, the art of ignoring allows you to maintain your peace and stay focused on your goals. It gives you the mental space to think clearly, make better decisions, and stay on track. You stop letting the world's chaos control you, and instead, you become the calm center in your own life. As you continue to practice ignoring, you'll find that you no longer need external validation. You no longer need to react to everything. Instead, you learn to move through the world with quiet confidence, knowing that your peace, your purpose, and your energy are in your control. And the more you practice, the stronger you become. You learn to navigate life with grace, purpose, and resilience. You learn that true power comes from within, and that by mastering the art of ignoring, you gain the freedom to live your life on your own terms. By mastering the art of ignoring, you reclaim your power, your peace, and your focus. You stop reacting to the noise and start living with intention, anchored in your own strength. Remember, the world will always try to pull you in different directions, but the true power lies in choosing where to place your energy. Stay grounded, stay focused, and always protect your inner world. Keep investing in yourself and your growth. Thank you for being a part of Stoic Journal. Keep walking the path of peace, purpose, and wisdom. Check out the video on the screen for more insights to continue your journey.